friends, Shelley here, the Youth and Family Program Coordinator. Thank you for joining us today on our Taking Faith Home daily Bible reading. I'm so glad that you can be here and learn and grow and practice our faith together. This is a great way for us to stay connected to our faith and also with each other. If you have a Bible nearby, you can go ahead and grab it and follow along with me as I read. Otherwise, of course, you can always just listen as well. As a reminder, before we get started, our focus for this week is Jesus' compassion is greater than our misguided ways. And for Monday, we are reading Genesis chapter 15, verses 1 through 12 and 17 through 18. After this, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. "Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your very great reward." But Abram said, "O sovereign Lord, what can you give me since I remain childless? And the one who will inherit my estate is Eliezer of Damascus." And Abram said, "You have given me no children, so a servant in my household will be my heir." Then the word of the Lord came to him. "This man will not be your heir, but a son coming from your own body will be your heir." He took him outside and said, "Look up at the heavens and count the stars, if indeed you can count them." Then he said to him, "So shall your offspring be." Abram believed the Lord, and he credited it to him as righteousness. He also said to him, "I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land to take possession of it." But Abram said, "O sovereign Lord, how can I know that I will gain possession of it?" So the Lord said to him, "Bring me a heifer, a goat, and a ram, each 3 years old, along with a dove and a young pigeon." Abram brought all of these to him, cut them in two, and arranged the halves opposite each other. The birds, however, he did not cut in half. Then birds of prey came down on the carcasses, but Abram drove them away. As the sun was setting, Abram fell into a deep sleep, and a thick and dreadful darkness came over him. When the sun had set and darkness had fallen, a smoking fire pot with a blazing torch appeared and passed between the pieces. On that day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram and said, "To your descendants I will give this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river Euphrates." So what stood out to you today in that reading? You know, the thing that I really focused in on was the covenant that God made with Abram, and really promising him descendants as many as the stars, right? He said, "Go outside and look up and count the stars, and your descendants will be as numerous as them." And Abram really trusted God. And that's a hard thing to do, especially when he hadn't really seen any proof of, well, how do I know he's really going to help me get all of these children and have this many offspring? He didn't see immediate results, right? Well, that's kind of the way it is oftentimes with God. God doesn't always, his work doesn't always unfold the way we maybe want it to or expect it to. And that's what it means to be faithful. So hopefully you have somebody nearby. You can spend a little time talking about this reflection question, or if not, you can also always post about it here in our comments. The question that I want us to think about today is, what promise from God do you find hardest to trust? And how can you strengthen that trust? Is there something you're really struggling with? Like I said, share it with us. Maybe it's something we can all learn from and learn about different ways to find that deeper trust. Another thing I would suggest that you could do as an activity to really, in an active way, live out your faith is go outside in the evening and look up at those stars and reflect on that. Reflect on God's faithfulness of what God said back there in throughout history. I'll make all of these descendants for you. And maybe you can write down something that your family is trying to trust God with, and keep it in a place where you can pray about it during Lent here, this Lent season. That's a great way for you to, again, live out your faith in an activity as well. Hopefully either the reflection question or that activity maybe is inspiring to you, and you know someone else that it could be inspiring to as well, so that you could share this video out so that more people can be inspired by it and have a time of deeper connection and faith building. I'll close us out today with a brief prayer. God of promises, help us trust you even when we don't see immediate answers. Give us faith to follow you. Amen. Well, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you all again very soon.